Chapter 4 Pre-Algebra Review. Graph the line. Here's my equation that I'll put into my table. 2x plus 3. I can choose my x's, go through the equation, solving for y, replacing every x in the equation with the number I chose over in the first column. Or, since I already know y equals mx plus b, I could just use my y-intercept and my slope to graph this line. I'll do the same thing on number 2, but realizing that I have a fraction when I put my equation in, I'll want to make sure to choose numbers that will be multiples of 3. Well, 0 is a multiple of everything, and then I would choose 3 and then 6 to fill in my equations. Or again, I know y equals mx plus b, and I could graph my line from just the equation. Next section says determine the slope of each line named below. Finding line A, I would draw my triangle, and remember that slope is rise over run. I could easily find my rise is 1, my run is 4. So I have a slope of 1 over 4. And then I think about slope dude. Is this a positive slope or is this a negative slope? So it is a nice negative, so I would be sure to label that as a negative 1/4 slope. Next section, change the following equations to slope-intercept form. And there it is for you, y equals mx plus b. Check first to see if your y is in front. It is not, so I, of course, have to get rid of anything attached to the y. So I'll get rid of my 7x, moving it over here, remembering to not put it under the number. So everything comes down. He, of course, goes away. Y equals, I want to put my x in the format, mx, which is now negative 7x plus 4. Looking at this one, y equals mx plus b. It's in the right format, but what's wrong with my y? Is this in the right format? Y equals mx plus b? No, I need my equals here. So you again will have to do some movement to solve this equation into y equals mx. And remembering, this is a 3y, and you only want 1. Next page. Find the slope and the y-intercept of the graph of the linear equation. So, is it in the right format? Y equals mx plus b? Yes. So we always know that m stands for slope, b stands for y-intercept. Super duper easy, just identification. Number 12 and 13. Identify the slope and y-intercept and then graph the line. Well, y equals mx plus b, so this must be my slope. I don't have a number here, so that's like saying plus nothing. So what is my b? And then where does it have to start on my graph? If b is my y-intercept, then where do you start? Number 13, same thing. It is in the right format already. So if you just put that on top, you'll see what your m is, what your b is, and this is a faller. So when you go to do your graphing, you're going to fall and then run on this one because it is a negative number. Number 14, is this in y equals mx plus b? Always check that first. And you just did this in the other section. Just move your x to the other side. And remember to change those signs when you do that. So get yourself into the right format first. Find your slope, find your y-intercept. Starting at the y-intercept, you'll graph on the y-axis. Next page, write in slope-intercept form an equation of the line that passes through the given points. Well, slope-intercept form, my good old y equals mx plus b. So I need to find my slope. So I'm going to say, what is 4 minus 1? And that will give me my rise, because those are my y's. And then I'll do 2 minus 0, and that will give me my run. So 4 minus 1 is 3. 2 minus 0 is 2. So my slope is 3 over 2. Now remember, looking at any coordinate pair that has a 0 in front, what is that? If this is your x and this is your y, this is your b. This is your y-intercept. So there's my x for slope. There's my b. So there is my equation. I did give you the whole one on that one, but that's just a good review about the 0 and any number. That number is your y-intercept. Number 16. The graph shows the height in feet, y, so I know to come over here right now and put feet, of a kite, x seconds. So this must be my seconds, because x is my seconds, after you start letting out the string. So find and interpret the slope of the graph. Well, you know to draw a right triangle, if I can get one on here, on that graph to find your slope, and then tell me, what is it? Something per something. What is your interpret? What did your triangle tell you? And that is feet per what? How many feet per how many seconds? What is your y-intercept? Well, here's your y-axis, so you know what your y-intercept is. What does that mean? What does that number mean? And then write your equation. Your y equals mx plus b. So from A, you found the slope. From B, well, this B up here, you found your y-intercept. So all you have to do is fill them into the blank, and you have your equation. Oh, there's another one. What is the height of the kite after 5 seconds? Well, go back to your graph. At 5 seconds, what is the height? Circle the graphs that show a proportional relationship. Circle all that apply. All we have to remember is a proportional relationship has to start at a certain coordinate pair. Where does a proportional relationship have to start? It's even got a special name that begins with O. Every coordinate grid has this spot, and it's got a special name. Next page. Match the equation with its graph. Write the capital letter on the line. Well, just looking at this, I think the easiest way to go is just finding the good old B, my y-intercept, and that will let me know which of these is the equation to which line. So go through your graph, look at those lines, and find your y-intercept, your B. All right, next section, graph the line, and then find your y-intercept and your x-intercept. I can't get, there we are. All right, so we have a point -2, 5 and a slope of -1. Remember, always think of these numbers as a fraction. So any number over 1 is still that number. So if I were to find -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's my starting point. I'm going to fall and then run on this one because it is a negative slope. So do your counting. Where did you hit the x? Where did you hit the y? Same thing here. Whoa, what happened? Come back here. I'm starting at -3, -1, -3 on the x, -1 on the y. Here's my slope already in fraction form. I'm going to find where it touches the x, and then I will find where it touches the y. 23. You are 9 miles away from home. You bike home at a speed of 6 miles per hour. The equation that models this situation is 6x plus y equals 12. Well, I'm going to turn this into y equals mx plus b. So here's my y. I'm going to have to move that 6x, aren't I? So now y equals -6x plus 12. So I am going to find and interpret the y-intercept, find and interpret the x-intercept. So I'm going to go over here, make myself a grid, coordinate grid, or use one on paper to graph this equation, and then find and interpret y, find and interpret x. Last page. Find the x and y intercepts. Here's your hint. 0 for y if you're looking for the x, 0 for x if you're looking for the y. So if I want to find the x-intercept, I don't care about the y. So I'm going to act like this doesn't exist and just see 4x equals 8. So 4x equals 8. Of course, I do not want 4 of them, so solve for 1. Now I'm looking for the y. So the x does not exist. X becomes 0. Y equals 8. Well, thank you. That's an easy one. I'm done because I have one y. Same thing over here. 3x minus 2y is 12. If I want to find the x, y disappears. 3x equals 12. Write that right here and then solve for only 1x. If I want to find the y, get rid of the x, but look at this. You carry the sign in front, so it's -2y equals 12 will come down here. You have a negative and a 2 attached to that y, so get rid of it. Write in point slope form an equation of the line that passes through the given points. Oh, this is super duper easy. Write the original formula. Identify x1, y1. You now know exactly where to put your items. x1 will replace x1 sub 1. Y sub 1 will replace y sub 1. 2 will replace the m. Just substitute, keeping of course x stays and y stays. Same thing here. Write your equation and then substitute your numbers. And the good old bonus. Oh, we've done these. You can do your subtraction, you can do your loops. Excuse me. You can come here and remember that this goes on to the bottom and this goes on top. Many different ways to solve for the slope on a table. And that is, well, where'd he go? Pre-algebra review, chapter 4.